Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I warmly welcome you all to LUM's Executive MBA webcast. My name is Minhal Sheikh, and today we are here for the LUM's Executive MBA webcast. This is your opportunity to connect with LUMS, to get to know more about LUM's Executive MBA program, its benefits, and the experience that this program has to offer. So here today, I am live from LUMS with great company of LUMS Executive MBA Program Director, who shall be answering to your questions very soon. And I do hope that all of you are ready with your list of questions as well. So let me take this opportunity to introduce you all to Mr. Asad Alam, who is LUMS Executive MBA Program Director and who is also Assistant Professor at Suleiman Daud School of Business. Mr. Alam is a certified public accountant with extensive experience and knowledge in the field of assurance and business advisory. Currently, he is teaching financial reporting and analysis, mergers and acquisition, and entrepreneurship to EMBAs, MBAs, and undergraduate students at LUMS. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your opportunity to connect with LUMS Executive MBA Program Director and get to know more about how you may be able to join this program and become the part of the very best. So without any further ado, I would like to request Mr. Alam to please share with us some insights about LUMS Executive MBA program and what this program has to offer.
Thank you, Manal. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for joining us. I'll go over the structure of Executive MBA, and from there on we can make it an interactive kind of a session where any questions that you may have about Executive MBA I can answer, or I can refer you to the right person who would be able to answer your questions. So as far as Executive MBA from LUMS is concerned, it is a weekend only program. So you don't have to put your career on a hold to pursue a master's degree. It does not specializes in any one field, because we feel as a manager, as a mid-management manager, or as a top manager, you need to know a little bit about every function in a company instead of just one specialization. So that's why purposely we have built both our MBA as well as our Executive MBA as a general management degree. So as far as the degree is concerned, this is weekends only, so you have to come on alternate weekends. So it's not even on every weekend, but alternate weekends. So it's very, very doable. So we try to fit a master's degree into 2 years, so you can easily earn it. You don't have to spend. So there is we especially thought of work-life balance, because we understand that most of the people, or actually all of the people who will be applying for this program, they are working full-time and they do have families. So we want to make sure that they have enough time for everything. So it is challenging, it is tough, I have to tell you that, but at the same time it's extremely rewarding, and I can guarantee that it will help you promote your career, or it will help you understand the business world much better than where you start. As far as the Executive MBA is concerned, so the best thing about the degree is that you don't have to quit your job to earn the degree. The online classes are on Saturdays and Sundays, on alternate weekends. It's a solid general management degree, and it's an excellent investment for your future. Most people who want to pursue, so they already are doing well in their organization, so it's not that this is for people who don't have experience. So the average experience currently, so we are very, very lucky to get students with on average about 12 years of experience. So it's a very seasoned class, and they know exactly what they want out of this degree. And we ensure that we have the best faculty, the most seasoned faculty available to actually teach these courses. And overall, it's a great experience for the students. It's a great experience for the faculty, because each person who's coming into this program, they have special skills, in their own industry, and then we can share those skills within the class, and then everybody learns. So basically, it's not only knowledge dissemination, but it's knowledge sharing. So whatever the faculty can share, as opposed to the whole cohort of students who have actually joined. So it's knowledge sharing among the peer. So we have 15 classes, so as 15 different subjects. We have divided the executive MBA into 5 modules. So each module is focusing on a different aspect of leadership. So for example, we start with fundamentals or business fundamentals, then we move on to operation and people management, then we talk about cost, value, and innovation management. And then we have a specialization module where we talk about business law, we talk about venture creation or entrepreneurship, and strategy, the business strategy. And then managing the future, we talk about, again, business strategy, ethics, and then leadership in an organization. So this is roughly the draft. We also have international module where we take our class. So we've been running this module for the past 4 years. It's been very, very successful, and it's one of the highlights of our executive MBA, where we take our class to Silicon Valley. We have a very good partnership going on with professors from Berkeley and from Harvard Business School, as well as Brown. And then we also visit companies like Google and SAP and Apple, and where we meet our alumni. And they are the one who are actually hosting us, and they are the one who basically talk about how they ended up from LUMS to some of the companies in Silicon Valley. The wonderful thing is that there are over 200 LUMS alumni working in Silicon Valley, and we are very nicely connected to them. And I think one of the main takeaway from executive MBA, aside from obviously knowledge, gaining knowledge, is the networking opportunities that we are able to provide. And I think that's that networking is so strong within Pakistan and outside Pakistan that I can guarantee that it would be very, very beneficial for you in the long run. So with that, I am open to questions. Any questions that you may have that I could answer, I'll be more than happy to.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Alam, for throwing such light on the program structure and about the executive MBA program. We are getting an amazing response from many of our prospective students, and I have got a couple of questions here which needs your attention, of course. So we have a question from Mr. Ahmed Khwaja, and he is interested in knowing that why should he choose an executive MBA and what are its benefits?
Executive MBA as opposed to regular MBA, I'm assuming. So if there is a choice between MBA and executive MBA, see, executive MBA is not made for people who want to pursue the regular MBA. The biggest difference between executive MBA and our regular MBA is that this is for people who are working full-time, who do not want to take a break in their career, and they are working full-time as opposed to a regular MBA where you have to quit your job and you have to be at LUMS for 2 years straight. So there is, for a lot of people, there is a lot of opportunity costs involved for the regular MBA because 2 years you are here, as opposed to executive MBA, which you can pursue while you keep your job. So that's a big plus as far as executive MBA is concerned. At the same time, executive MBA is for very seasoned or experienced participants. So the minimum experience that is required to enroll in executive MBA, this is one of our requirements, that you must have at minimum 6 years of experience to even be considered for executive MBA. For a regular MBA, experience is highly recommended, but it's not required. But for executive MBA, the minimum experience that we ask for or require is 6 years. So that's the basic difference, or the biggest difference between a regular MBA and executive MBA.
All right. So next we have a question from Sarah Zafar, and she is saying, how is the curriculum structured for the executive MBA? I have heard the program is quite rigorous. How will I manage?
Well, yes. As far as the program is concerned, it is rigorous. You do have to allot or dedicate time to it. You have to study every single day. But I mean, based on some of the comments made by students who did well in executive MBA, they said that if you can take out maybe 1 hour or 1.5 hour every single day, because the classes are going to be after every 2 weeks, right? So essentially you have a 2 weeks gap. So if you're organized and you can spend an hour, maybe 2 hours every day in reading the cases that we give you, I think that's more than sufficient. Obviously on weekends you'll also have to spend some time, but that is more than enough for you to actually successfully complete your executive MBA. So it's not very difficult, but we do expect you guys to come prepared for classes. We do expect, it is case method. So both our executive MBA and our regular MBA, this is based on case methods. We have local cases, local businesses, Pakistani businesses, so local industry cases, as well as Harvard cases, so majority are Harvard cases, and then we extrapolate that learnings and how they can apply to the local setting. So it requires time. You have to be serious about your studies, but I believe that if you start and if you can spend at minimum 1 to 2 hours during weekdays, and then on weekends slightly more than that, you should be able to finish it. Because we've been running executive MBA for the past 20 years, and people have not complained that it's not doable. People, every single year we have a very good batch, and it's growing every single year, and more people are getting involved, and they're quite happy with the structure, and they're quite happy with the workload that they're able to. So it's manageable. So we understand that people are busy, they have work-life balance, so we make our courses accordingly that you will get time for everything. But you have to be organized. You have to be structured for that.
Thanks. So the next question that we have here is from Zain Ali, and he is interested in knowing how long does it take to complete the executive MBA program, and when is it starting next?
So the whole program is roughly about 22 months. So you start, so the application is open. You can go on LUM's website and apply today. Once you have applied, so I'll just take you through the process. Once you apply, we will call you. So every single person who applies and he qualifies, we call them for interviews. Once you have cleared the interview, the joining date for the next batch would be mid-August of next year, so 2019. So there's time. So our deadline to apply is in May. So you have time, but you still have to sit for GMAT. You still have to submit your application. You still have to submit your documentation. So this is the right time to actually start preparing or start planning for because time flies very, very quickly. So this is the right time to actually start thinking about getting things in order, maybe talking to your boss, talking to your family, that this is what you plan to do. Because it is a commitment. It's a commitment not only from your side, it's also a commitment from your employer, it's also a commitment from your family. So if you have a wife, husband, you do need to talk to them about it, because this will keep you busy most weekends. So it's something that you have to communicate, and you have to basically have everybody on board. So, but once you start in August, it takes roughly about 22 months. So you start 1 year in August, and then the next year in March or April you get done. So April is final, and then basically your graduation would be sometime in June. So it's roughly about a little less than 2 years it takes.
Thanks. So next question we have from Aisha Zain, and she is interested in knowing that if it is possible to do the executive MBA if she is not living either or near Lahore.
Absolutely. So currently, roughly about 50% of our class is commuting. So about 30% of the class is coming from Islamabad, because most of the telcos, most of the engineers are around Islamabad and vicinity. So if you think about only about 50% of the class coming from Lahore, the rest outside Lahore. So that's absolutely wonderful. We like to have that mix. So it's a very, very regional kind of executive MBA, where we have people from Islamabad, we have people from as far as Hyderabad. So I remember a couple of years back, we had a person who was taking a 20-hour train twice a month from Hyderabad to Lums and back, and he was quite happy pursuing his executive MBA from Lums. So Hyderabad is a stretch. I have to agree, but there was a lot of dedication from that person. But we do get people from Peshawar. We do get a lot of people from Rawalpindi, Islamabad, and then obviously the vicinity of Lahore. That's pretty regular. So you don't have to live in Lahore to pursue your executive MBA.
So the next question that we have is from Abdullah Jamil, and he is interested. He's saying, I reside in Karachi. How do I manage the program? Is there any distance learning that we are offering?
Unfortunately not. As far as people from Karachi, I understand that Karachi is a big market. We are still working on it, that how can we also include people from Karachi to pursue an executive MBA from Lums. But as of now, we don't have that option available. We have had a couple of people from Karachi, but they had commitment from their companies, and they would fly. Obviously, it becomes very expensive, but they had their company's commitment, so that's why they were able to. So I know of only 2 examples in the recent past who were coming from Karachi to pursue. But as of now, we don't have a distance learning component where you can take all the courses online. But we are definitely planning on it. We are definitely working on it, that maybe in the future, maybe in a year or 2, we might be able to actually offer a solution to people from Karachi or from other areas.
All right. So the next question that we have is from Umair Afzal, and he is saying, are there any exemptions available after ACCA? I'm doing ACCA from SCANS.
If you have completed, so it's not, see, our degree status is given to us by HEC, right? So we have to comply by all of HEC rulings. And so as far as HEC is concerned, so it's not our standard. As far as HEC is concerned, so if you have completed your ACCA, and if you have completed your CA, then you are given equivalency of MCOM, which means that is good enough for Lums to give you admission into our executive MBA. Currently, we have in our first year, we have I think 3 CAs who are pursuing their executive MBA, because they are only in their accounting and finance function, and now they want to move on into management. So I think this is a great degree for them, because it also teaches you softer skills, which includes leadership, which includes operations, which includes a lot of other things. So and they are quite happy pursuing this, because it kind of opens, because CA and ACCA, they are very, very technical degrees. But if you want to balance it off, so executive MBA really helps you learn the softer skills, which will help you actually move to the C-suite positions in your companies. So I mean, most of, I think all the 3 CAs that we have, all of them, they are eyeing a CFO or a better position than that, which is CEO. But they have their vision very, very clear, that the reason they are here is so that they can actually move on to those positions.
Thanks. So the next question that we have here is from Amna Amjad, and she's interested in knowing, she's saying, I have my own business and wish to do executive MBA. You say the program is tough. How will I be able to manage both work and studies if I do an executive MBA from Lums?
See, we have had entrepreneurs. So I think a couple of years back, we had a fashion designer. We had a person who also had her own business in web page design and things like that. So, and they, I believe, benefited the most out of executive MBA. Because as an entrepreneur, I'm sure you understand that how important time management is. So you just have to dedicate, you just have to find time, that this is the time I'm going to allocate to executive MBA, because this is going to help me in the future. So I think our focus is becoming more and more towards entrepreneurs, for small business owners, and our courses also reflect that. So some of the cases, some of the courses that we are teaching or have brought into our executive MBA are specifically designed for people who are managing their own businesses, and it would be very, very beneficial for you. Yes, it would be a struggle, yes, but there is flexibility in the program that you should be able to actually manage it with your own work.
Thanks. So here's an interesting question that I have come across, and I believe that he is from medical sciences. So the question is from Mohsen Iqbal, and he is an MBA student, and he's saying, can I pursue an executive MBA program after MBBS degree?
Absolutely. We have had, you'll be surprised that we have had people from all walks of life. So we have had people from the Army, we have had people from Air Force. We currently have people from Army and Air Force. So because a lot of people who retire after colonel level position, so they are in their mid 40s. So which means they are looking for a second career. So, and our degree helps them to get into positions, in management positions after they retire from the Army. So it's the same case that we have had doctors, accomplished doctors, who want to start their own hospitals. And they said that we would like to understand, we would like to learn about management and how do we manage hospitals as opposed to businesses. They found it very interesting, and they benefited. We have had also people, with the last doctor, I remember he was about 60 years old, so close to his retirement, and he thought, or he wanted to pursue a executive MBA from LUMS, and he's using it, and he was very happy being here, and he was one of the most dynamic person that I met, that at age 60 he decided to actually pursue an executive MBA because he said this is going to help me maybe open a clinic of my own or a hospital, a small hospital. So it can be very, very helpful because for you, the main thing that you should be here for is obviously the management that we try to teach, but at the same time, it's also the networking, because LUMS will connect you to the right people, and maybe in a partnership or something, you can start something on your own or in a partnership. And at the same time, you will find people, like-minded people, who would want to help you actually grow your business.
Thanks. So Alijat is interested in knowing about the minimum experience that is required to apply for the executive MBA program.
The minimum is 6 years. So at minimum, you have to have 6 years of experience. The other requirement includes 16 years of education, which is an HEC requirement that you must have completed 16 years of education. So the minimum experience is 6 years, and then you also have to sit for GMAT or GRE. Both tests are accepted. We are the only school in Pakistan. I was told that recently, I didn't know that we are the only school in Pakistan which actually requires these international tests, which are accepted anywhere in the world. And we are actually happy, and we are proud of that we are at the same standard as some of the good schools around the world. Having said that, we actually look at all three things. So we look at your experience, we look at your GMAT score, and we look at your past transcripts, that what was your undergrad degree in, and how well did you do, and then how can this executive MBA will benefit you in the long run. So we basically look at all three things before we decide whether to give a person admission or not.
Thanks. So the next question is from Noman Anjum, and he is interested in knowing about the admission criteria to apply for our executive MBA program.
Admission criteria is simple. 6 years of experience, 16 years of education, and GMAT or GRE score. Once you have taken all this, you submit your application online, and then you submit your documentation. I think it's you have a few months to actually come up with all the documentation. And once you have submitted all the documentation, we will call you for an interview. The interview would be sometime either the last week of May or beginning of June. So once you get an acceptance letter, then the classes are going to start mid August. So I think it's the second week of August that the classes are going to start.
So the next question is from Fiza Murtaza, and she is saying, what are the funding opportunities for people who cannot afford the degree? I believe I have the qualifications, but not enough to finance and to manage.
See, at LUMS, the most important thing for us is merit, right?
Yeah.
If you qualify, I believe LUMS in all their programs, they are offering women scholarships. So if you do qualify as a regular student, you can apply for our women scholarships and take benefit of that. In addition to scholarships, we do have a very good deal with MCB Bank, where they would give you a loan which you will have to pay back once you have graduated. So it's on very good terms. Some people who want to take a loan, so especially um, if you don't qualify for the scholarships, you can always apply for a loan, and you can pay it off once you have actually graduated. So we try to make it as convenient as possible for our students. I understand that our executive MBA is expensive, but at the same time, I can safely say that this is probably a world-class executive MBA, and it will help you in the future with your career aspirations.
So the next question that we have is from Taha Imran, and he's saying, I will have 5 years of experience coming August 2019. Is this enough experience to apply for fall 2019 admissions?
No, unfortunately, you have to have at minimum 6 years. Currently, our average is 12 years of experience. Last year was 13 years of experience on average. So we would like to have a class that can talk about their experiences. They can link what's happening in the industry with what we are trying to teach, which is theory. So all of our faculty members, they have over 10 plus years of teaching experience. They also have industry and consulting experience. So we want to make sure that the people that we invite for executive MBA, they have at minimum 6 years of experience. So below that, you will have to wait for another year. And once you have 6 years, then you can apply. But I think executive MBA is built for people with more experience. So if you have less experience and you can take off from your work, I would suggest that our MBA degree, which is a full-time degree, that is something that you may want to consider.
So the next question that we have is from Rizwan Salim. He is a CA candidate, and he is interested in knowing, are there any exemptions for CA candidates?
There are no exemptions per se for CA candidates, but if you have completed your CA degree, CA qualification, then you can apply. According to HEC, a qualified CA is equivalent to MCOM, and as an MCOM degree, you can apply for our executive MBA, but there are no exemptions. Both in our regular MBA and our executive MBA, there are no exemptions when it comes to coursework.
All right. So the next question that we have is from Faizan Ashraf, and he is interested in knowing, he's asking, can I do executive MBA after an engineering degree?
Absolutely, absolutely. See, executive MBA is built, or MBA is built for people with non-business background, right? So, for example, if I share the profile of people who joined last year, so most of them, I think, so roughly about 20% were entrepreneurs. There were 10% were computer science background. Engineers were about 40% of the total class had engineering background. So the degree is built for, I think, the people who would benefit the most from our executive MBA are the people with non-business degrees, because the way we have structured the program is such that it benefit the non. So we basically start from the very, very basic and then take you to a level where you can ask the right questions. So for example, the accounting courses or the finance courses that we have, so we are not trying to make you guys accountants, but at least you should be able to ask the right question from an accountant, that if something is happening, why is it happening, and can you read financial statements. So this is basically what we are trying to achieve from our executive MBA. So for engineers especially, so we have engineers from Honda Motor Company as well as Honda, the motorbike company, and they are engineers and top engineers, and they are really benefiting from our executive MBA because they are looking at those C-level positions, and it would help them actually achieve that, because in order to get into the C-suite positions, you have to have understanding of every single function of the business, not only your core area.
All right, so the next question that we have is from Bilal Gilani, and he's asking about the minimum score requirement for GMAT or GRE.
There is no minimum course requirement, score requirement. So what we have is that we look at three things, right? So we look at your GMAT score, whatever that may be. We also look at your past experience, and that is one of the most important factors in considering you for an executive MBA. And we look at your previous degree or degrees. So based on that, we will call you for an interview. So you have to sit for GMAT, right? But our GMAT requirement is not as stringent as our regular MBA, because we actually put more weightage on your experience as opposed to your GMAT score, because we understand that if you have been working for 8 or 10 years, there's a good chance that you won't score very, very highly on your GMAT, but which is absolutely fine. It's just an entrance requirement. It's not that you must score 600 plus or something. As long as you have a good story to tell, as long as you have good experience, we would definitely would want to hear from you.
All right, so the next question that we have is from Naveed Ashraf, and he is saying, normally executive MBA is for 1 year and classes are every week. LUMS has extended it for 22 months. Why is it structured like this at LUMS?
It is actually to make it easy for you. So instead of having classes every week, we have classes alternate weekends. So in doing so, we have also included people from outside Lahore. So if people had to come every week, then we would only be a very local kind of a executive MBA. And we wanted to ensure that we want to include as many people as possible. We want to include people from other cities. So for them, it's much easier to actually come alternate weekends instead of every week. So because of that, we had to spread it over 22 months instead of 1 year. You do complete 63 credit hours. The HEC requirement is 60 credit hours for a master's degree. So you actually do one extra course, but it is in line with the HEC requirement, that but we are only able to fulfill it in 22 months because it's alternate weekends and not every weekend.
So we have a very interesting question from Hajra Yasir, and she's saying, I am currently heading a unit in pharma industry.
Okay.
I wish to switch industries. How will this degree help me, particularly at such a senior level?
Right. See, it's not the degree only which is going to help you. It is the networking. It is opportunity to talk to people in different industries, which will help you or hopefully get an opportunity which will help you actually switch or maybe pursue. We have had people, I think 2 years back, we had a person from education industry. She was with one of the biggest brands in Pakistan for X number of years, and her aspirations were to actually also switch industry once she got done with an executive MBA, and she did well. She did extremely well. So right after executive MBA, she was able to move to the consulting industry. So currently, I believe she's working for one of the big fours in their consulting divisions and doing extremely well. So we will provide you with every opportunity to meet with people from different industries, and hopefully, but you have to find your own opportunities. It's not that it will fall on your lap, but it will definitely fall on LUMS, but it's up to you to actually take advantage of those opportunities.
Mhm. So the next question is related to exchange programs that LUMS enjoys with their partner foreign universities.
Yes.
So Ibad Khan is interested in knowing if there are any exchange programs in LUMS with other foreign universities.
Absolutely. I believe we have, as far as LUMS as a university is concerned, we have exchange programs with, I believe, over 20 universities world over. But now, when you talk about executive MBA, we don't have any exchange program when it comes to executive MBA, because this is designed for people who are working full time. So exchange program means that you go to another university and spend a semester over there, right? So if we build that kind of an element within executive MBA, that would mean that you would have to quit your job, or your employer would have to be very flexible, allowing you to actually go and spend 4 months or 3 months at another university. So it doesn't make sense for executive MBA to have an exchange element built into it. But we do have the 2-week program at Silicon Valley, so which is extremely good, which is kind of a mini exchange program where we involve faculty from UC Berkeley, from Brown University, and from Stanford, who basically come and take classes. And at the same time, you also get to meet executives from all the big companies, which includes Tesla, which includes Google, which includes Sequoia Capital, Presidio Capital. So these are some of the big venture capital firms in the world, and we get to meet some of their executives during the program.
That was very insightful, even for me, I would say. So the next question that we have is from Salman Khan, and he is interested in knowing post-executive MBA, what kind of career growth one should anticipate? What does the placement center do for success of our executive MBA graduates?
We have a very active placement center. I think one of the best thing about LUMS is that it's a perfect ecosystem where we have a wonderful admissions department, we have a very good marketing department, we have a very good placement department, and everybody works together, right? So we have contact information of all the companies that has ever worked with LUMS, or where our students are placed. So we will connect you to the right people. In the end, I mean, you have to get the job, right? But as far as connecting to the right people is concerned, connecting to the right person is concerned, we will get you there. The last step you have to take. But as far as connecting, the placement center is concerned, it's extremely active. They have data of all the employers. They will connect you. They will even arrange interviews for you. But you have to basically do all that. So for people who want to change or switch jobs after, or even in between, because you are working full time as far as executive MBA is concerned. So we have had people who actually switched jobs while they were pursuing. So they got opportunities during their executive MBA, and they switched jobs. And some of the opportunities also came from LUMS while talking to your own classmates or from your senior batch, and people switched. So there are opportunities for sure.
So the next question that we have is from Irfan Asim, and she's saying, I am more interested in an executive degree that provides an international exposure. What opportunities are there with your program, with our executive MBA program?
See, as far as when it comes to international exposure, you have to think that what do you mean by international exposure? So 80% of the cases that you read in our executive MBA are coming directly from Harvard. So we are subscribed to Harvard publishing, and every single case that so you'll see that every single case that we download, we have to pay them a royalty on that. So the cases are coming from companies from the US, coming from companies in Europe or Asia, Singapore, Hong Kong, you name it. So it's a very kind of an international degree where we talk about management issues in all these countries, in all these different settings, right? So that way it is international. If by international you mean that you have to be outside Pakistan to pursue something. So in our executive MBA, we don't offer that. In our regular MBA, we do have exchange program, and you can always go and spend a semester at another university, be it in China or in Singapore or somewhere in Europe. We have over 20 universities which our students regularly go and spend a semester or two to complete the degrees. So if that's your definition of internationalization, then we do have that, but not in our executive MBA, but in our regular MBA.
Mm-hmm. So the next question that we have is asking, that is from Muhammad Yunus, and he's asking, I have 10 years of work experience. I am from Afghanistan and have been working for the last 10 years in the Central Bank of Afghanistan.
Okay.
I want to join LUMS. What are the requirements for me as an international applicant?
See, we have had actually, I think last year we did a program for people from Afghanistan, and they had the same question, that how can they join LUMS executive MBA. See, one of the requirements for executive MBA is that you are working full-time. So coming from Afghanistan to LUMS just for executive MBA, you may want to apply for the regular MBA, but I believe there are some special scholarships between Pakistani government and Afghan government, where they are funding people from Afghanistan to come to LUMS. You can check it on your own what kind of scholarships are available. But for executive MBA, I don't think this is the right structure or this is the right degree for you, especially if you want to commute from Afghanistan. That might be too much to handle.
So, and the next question that we have is from Mehek Rahman, and she is asking, could you please tell me about how a student is taught while being enrolled in the executive MBA program? Probably, I think she is referring to the methodology that
the
we
methodology. So most of our sessions are case-based, right? So what happens is that we give you for each. So you are taking 3 courses at a time, right? So for all 3 courses, you will get a case each in each class, and so you will read the case. You'll come prepared. You'll discuss that case. So we divide the whole class into small groups. And then you discuss your understanding of the case, right? So because your understanding may be different from a person within your group, because he's coming from a different background. So you guys try to discuss that case among the smaller group, right? Then you come to the classroom, and then the case is discussed again with all the other students in the classroom and a faculty member who's leading the discussion. So we don't believe in knowledge dissemination. So it's not that it would be a monologue where a professor would be talking and would tell you that this is best for you, this is the best solution. And so because in business there is no such thing as a best solution or the right solution, I should say. But we will give you options that in this kind of a scenario, in this kind of a setting, this is what this company did or this manager did, and it worked well for him. And can you use the same in your company or in your scenario? So it's a very practical kind of a degree. We have tried to make our executive MBA as practical as possible. So for courses like law, we actually have lawyers who are actually practicing law at high court level. So they understand that what our local system is all about. So instead of bringing in a person who has a degree in law but has never practiced, so we would rather bring in a person who is actually a practicing lawyer, and he can talk about his experiences with corporate law or business law. It's same as the case with accounting. We have people who have worked in accounting field for many years, in insurance, in consulting, and they are the one. So we have tried to bring in a very dynamic set of faculty members for executive MBA, and we are extremely proud of the fact that we have these people involved. I mean, for example, there's a course in corporate governance, and we have Khalid Mirza. So a person like Khalid Mirza, who was the ex-chairman of, what do you call it? He was the chairman of the economic forum. I can't remember the name, but he worked for the government all his life, and currently we are very, very lucky to have him at LUMS. He was a head of State Bank at one point in time. So he was also a diplomat and representing Pakistan in the US for many, many years. So these are the kind of people that we have involved in our executive MBA. Said that whatever you learn, whatever you interact, whoever you interact with, they have the knowledge and they can talk about their experience and share that experience with you guys.
So the next question that we have is from Shehzad Ashraf, and he is asking, is it compulsory to work in industry at the time of admission? If someone has an 8-year of industry experience and currently in the teaching sector, will he be eligible for admission in executive MBA?
Well, yes, you will be eligible because you're still working, but you also have to understand that if your goal is to stay in the education sector, is this the right degree for you? So you have to make that call. So as long as you have completed 6 years of 6 years of experience and you're working, so as far as our requirements are concerned, you have fulfilled those requirements. But then you have to ask that question to yourself that why do you want to pursue an executive MBA and how would it help you? Because it is a commitment. It's a big commitment time-wise. It's a big commitment money-wise. And it's a big commitment family-wise. So if you want to pursue it, you have to have very good reasons to do it, right? Otherwise, maybe if you are in the education sector and you want to remain in the education sector, MBA or executive MBA might not be the right degree for you. Your aspirations may be to pursue a PhD, and for that you may want to pursue a MS instead of a MBA, because MBA is supposed to be a very practical degree. It's not designed for people who have aspirations to go for a PhD. So if you would like to do a PhD eventually, then I would strongly recommend that go for an MS, so that at least it would be a research-based degree instead of a practical degree.
So the next question is related to financials. We have a question from Mustafa Shiraz, and he is asking about the total program cost. How much does it cost?
Okay, so the total cost, and now it's divided into 5 installments. So the cost is roughly about 1.8 million, so 18 lakh. So 1.8 million, and then if you also want to take advantage of going to the US for the international globalization module, then add another about 400,000. So about 2.2 million for the entire experience. So if you don't want to go to the US, then we do have a local module where we take our students to Karachi. We meet with companies or our alumni working for companies like Unilever, for P&G. So you can also take advantage of that. And the cost would be substantially less. Instead of 400,000, it would be under 100,000 rupees if you want to go for Karachi. So then your cost would be under 2 million. So, but expect roughly about 1.8 million to 2.2 million as far as the cost is concerned.
So does this cost covers the accommodation as well?
This cost does not. We do have accommodation at LUMS, because especially for people who are coming from Islamabad, from other cities, we do have accommodations, but you have to pay extra for the accommodation. We have very good. I mean, we have executive center over here, and you can on space available basis, you can actually book it for an entire year or entire 2 years, but it costs you extra. It's heavily subsidized. So actually you will get the room rates much lower than even we could get as faculty. So there is accommodation available. It's very subsidized, but it's over and above the tuition cost that you have to pay.
All right. So the next question that we have is related to admission criteria, and that question is from Rana Farhan, and he is asking, what is criteria if someone has already done MS?
Oh, absolutely. So we have had in the past, we have had students who have had done maybe two other master's degrees. So they already have done maybe a MBA from Punjab University, or they have done a MS from Punjab University, and then they also want to do a better degree, or a degree from LUMS. So we have all sorts of people. So if you have already done your MS, that's good. You can apply. You can definitely be a part of LUMS. So you can definitely be part of, you can apply definitely at LUMS.
So the next question that we have is from Seemal Khurshid, and she is interested in knowing what is the deadline for taking GRE or GMAT for the upcoming session.
The deadline for sitting for GMAT or GRE is May 17th. So I would advise that if you want to sit for GMAT or GRE, take one either in January or February. So don't delay it. Don't delay it till May, the deadline, because anything can happen. Because I've heard people either getting sick or had to travel or whatever. So don't wait for the GMAT till the last date. Try to take it either in January and February, so that you qualify and you have submitted your score, your best score. And if need be, you can also take it more than once. You can take it one in January and then take one again in February or March, so that you are well prepared and you have a good enough score that we will call you for an interview.
Thank you, Asad. Thank you so much for being here, for taking out the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was all from our side in terms of our Executive MBA webcast and the questions that we have received from so far from your side. Before ending the session, I would like to request our program director, Mr. Asad Alam, if he would like to share an ending note with our prospective students, with our audience.
I would like to again talk about our executive MBA. It's a degree that the business school is extremely proud of. We have been very fortunate, and we have been very lucky to have the right kind of candidates for this degree. So for us, because for LUMS or for the business school, our linkages with the industry are extremely important. So when we designed our executive MBA, we spent many hours talking to the executive of all the big companies, trying to understand that what's needed in the market, right? And based on that, we try to design the curriculum of our executive MBA. And it's not that we did that exercise once. So we do that exercise every 5 years, that we look at the market dynamics, we look at the market demand, and accordingly basically adjust. I think one of the reasons that LUMS is successful, or our degrees are successful, or our alumni are successful, is because we never want to teach anything which is not relevant to the market. So it is a great opportunity. If you have any questions, there is plenty of material available on the web. You are welcome to write to me. If you go to LUMS website, my email address would be there, so you can also write to me, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. But this is the time for you guys to start applying, or start thinking about, or talking to the people if you want to be part of our next batch. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alam. So I would like to thank you all for taking out the time out of your busy schedules and being here with us today. I hope a majority of your queries must have been addressed, but in case if any query, any question remain unanswered, you can always reach out to us by dropping us an email at admissions@lums.edu.pk, or you can always connect to us through LUMS official social media platforms. We wish you all the best for your future, and we really look forward to welcome you all at LUMS. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.